So we're going to kick this off. Stop being the bottleneck of your law firm, the Law Firm Freedom Blueprint. Here we go. You know you're in the right room if you feel like you never have enough time to get it all done. You feel like you can't get more help because you don't have enough clients to support it. You envisioned a better lifestyle as a result of your firm and haven't achieved it yet. You're willing to try something new to solve all these problems. All of these are pretty self-explanatory. You're here if you're trying to give yourself a better lifestyle from your business and you haven't figured out how to do it yet, and you're willing to try something new if you haven't heard it before, rather than just assuming that you have all the answers. It's not for you if you believe that you already know everything about law firm ownership. You feel the need to defend your status instead of embracing change. A coach of mine once said that somebody needs to come into the room being coachable. Being coachable means that you are willing to allow somebody to give you input on how you can improve or do something better. I'm a big sports fan. It's funny because I didn't grow up a big sports fan, but I am now as an adult, and I play fantasy baseball and I play fantasy football, and I pay a lot of attention to individual players and their development. And players have multiple coaches. So a batter in baseball has a hitting coach. That coach's job is to get the batter to improve their hitting. They cannot improve their hitting if the batter comes to the meeting believing that they're the best and they know it all, and there's no room for improvement. Right? The only way that works is if they come to the conversation understanding that I have something to gain here. And that's the way that we need to approach what we're going to dive into for the next 20 to 30 minutes. And then finally, at the end, I'm going to give you the opportunity to get on a call with one of our coaches and have a strategy session, a clarity call. It's not a pitch. There will be an opportunity at the end. If you want to know more about what it looks like to work with us, we will share that with you. But the purpose of the call is to help you to understand what it is you're trying to achieve, what needs to happen to make that happen, what's getting in your way or stopping you from getting there, and how do we get that out of your way. And if having that clarity would be valuable to you, we'd like to give it to you. There's no cost to it. Book a call. We'd love to get on and talk to you. This is me. I am the owner, founder of Dream Builder Financial. Under Dream Builder Financial, started two brands, the Law Firm Growth Summit and Profit with Law. You may have heard of my podcast, YouTube channel, or seen me on the Law Firm Growth Summit. All of that started in end of 2018, beginning of 2019. Dream Builder Financial has been around since 2014. I have an MBA from DeVry's Keller Graduate School of Management. I hold a CPA and an IRS enrolled agent designation. And I'm a Profit First professional proudly since 2016. Profit First is a book. And then, yes, it's not a virtual background behind me. It's real. Profit First is a book by Mike Michalowicz. And it is basically a cash management system for businesses. Really love it and loved it so much that I aligned my business around it. So we do Profit First consulting. We help people implement Profit First in their business. But cash management is not the be-all, end-all. It's not going to fix your business if you don't also have a good business strategy, business plan. This is me, and this is me having a good strategy around parenting because these three kids are my grandchildren. So somehow I managed to keep my kids alive long enough for them to find a spouse, get married, and have a kid themselves. And that's my biggest achievement in my life is getting to this point. Yes, I still have young kids at home. As a matter of fact, these three kids that you see on the screen are 3 out of my 6 grandchildren. This picture is about a year and a half old. And my youngest at home became an uncle 3 days before his first birthday. So I have a child just a year older than these 3 in the screen. Anyway, everyone loves pictures of babies and puppies. So I showed you babies. We're going to talk about reclaiming an hour a day in your life. And the reason that we're going to talk about this is because in the previous talk, we talked about how you need to start transitioning from being the attorney in your business to being the owner and investor in your business. And the way that that happens, the way that we make that transition is by focusing on very specific things in the business. The biggest pushback that we get from people is this is all great, but I'm already burning the candle on both ends. I'm already coming home, barely saying hello to my family, and got the computer open and I'm already working again. I'm wearing a badge of honor that I come into the office on the weekends. How am I supposed to spend time growing my business, building my business, if I'm always in the weeds, always doing the work? And that's what we're going to talk about today. All it takes is an hour a day. If we can buy back an hour a day, you could spend that hour focusing on the project that's going to move your business forward, whether it's hiring somebody, whether it's investing in marketing, whether it's doing something else that needs to be done in your business to take the next step forward. An hour a day, consistently every single day, will make a drastic change in your business growth. So how do we unlock that? That's what we're going to talk about today. This is a Clio Legal Trends Report from 2018, and this kind of helps us highlight where is our time going. And if you look here, you can see that the average solo attorney is only doing 2.4 hours per day on average of billable client work. And what that means is that there's a lot of other hours that are being done, that are being used in another way. Especially since many firm owners, once they get busy, are also working at night. They're also working on the weekend. So where are all those hours going? If they're not doing client work that whole time, where's it all going? And for those of you who are naysayers in the room and say, no, these numbers can't be right, you may spend 12 hours in a day pumping out something for a client. But the next 4 days, you may spend talking to people, meeting with people, trying to find the next client, and not do any legal work. So just understand 2.4 hours is the average of what's being spent on legal work. So where's the rest of the time? The rest of the time is going to all these other things that you're doing. The lawyer, legal assistant, IT support, bookkeeper, you name it, it's here. Toilet cleaner, garbage taker outer, everything. You're doing it all, right? So you're doing it all before lunch. You're getting busier, but you aren't getting better results. So what is the cost of this? The cost of this is, and we went into detail on this information, these metrics in the last talk, but stalled growth is going to cost you 15 years of potential business growth. You could 10x your business this year, or you could take the next 15 years to do it. And that's the difference between solving this problem or not solving it. There's the opportunity cost. Every hour spent on admin work, on office functionality, on marketing, is an hour not spent doing legal work, or even more importantly, not spent running the business and driving that more important work. Like, what if you spent an hour and that hour gave leverage for 10 hours of legal work that's being billed at $300 an hour, or you spent that hour ordering the toilet paper and paper towels and cleaning supplies for the office. And then the personal price. It costs you time from your families, prevents you from taking vacations, prevents you from spending time on whatever is a passion project for you, and creates an unbelievable amount of stress. The longer you stay in the stage, the harder it is to get out of it. And this is the process or the method of how to emerge. Because one thing we covered in the last session is growth comes through leverage. You need to leverage your financial resources, and you need to leverage your human resources. Well, the first human resource you have access to is your own. Your time during the day. That's your first point of leverage, your first moment of leverage. So if we can leverage 1 hour, that 1 hour can swing really big doors. So we want to stop thinking like a lawyer, and we want to start thinking like an investor. You don't have a time management problem. You have a task allocation problem. Your ability to practice law is precisely what is holding you back. Because the more that we think about everything that we do as the doer, as the boots in the ground, as the person who's getting it done, the less we're thinking about being the business owner, the investor, which is the who, not how. It's who am I going to allocate this to? Who am I going to have do this rather than how am I going to do this? Um, when we start to leverage our own time, we then have the ability to leverage other people's time. We're going to talk about bringing other people into your business, but one of the biggest things that I see as a failure point of that is where the owner brings somebody in, but they don't allocate the time to delegate. They don't allocate the time to train that person. So this person is sitting there twiddling their thumbs. You're paying them, and you got nothing. You reduced your leverage because it's just costing you money without it actually helping you to free up your time. Um, so we want to make sure that with that 1 hour a day makes a massive difference. So how do we do this? Well, we've got the AEAD filtration funnel. AEAD doesn't mean anything, whatever. You're going to see. It's 4 steps, right? We don't just shift work around, we aggressively filter it out. We have our time. We're going to take our time. We're going to audit it. We're going to eliminate what doesn't need to be done. We're going to automate what can be automated, and then we're going to delegate. And what we delegate and how we delegate is really the key crux to this. But going through this process is going to, at a minimum, give you an hour a day back, and most likely is going to give you a lot more than that. So here's how this works. Step number 1, we're going to do a time audit. A time audit basically just means that everything you do, you write it down. You may be doing some of this already if you're billing hourly. You may already be recording your time, or you may be doing a poor job at it, which is another thing to highlight as a leaky bucket in your business. But there is a device called the Timular, and if you go on Amazon, you might be able to find something similar. And it's basically an 8-sided device, and each side gets a designation of a specific category of a time allocation. And when you change what you're doing, you just turn it to the right side, and it will track your time for you. If you're too busy or you are not going to stick with writing things down, at the very least, you will then get 8 categories of where your time is going. I much prefer that you write everything down because you will see in the next few steps why it's so important to allocate where this time is going. Um, it's a pain in the butt to do this, but it will give you so much insight into how you're spending your time that even without my next 3 steps I'm going to show you on your own, you will be able to see where the opportunities are with how you're spending your time. Now, I want to caution you one thing. When you're doing the time audit, one of the things that we might be tempted to do is to already start making changes to how we're spending our time, to what we're doing. And I encourage you to not do that during the audit because you're not going to give yourself good data and your habits are going to resurface as soon as you stop tracking. So you will not have fixed anything, but you won't have the information you need to really understand where your time is going. So I encourage you to carry on like you always would. If, like me, at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, you get lost on your phone to set your lineup on your baseball fantasy team because the first game started at 1 o'clock, and that distracts you for 5 minutes, don't skip it because you're auditing your time. Do it and write it down. So we want to track every single thing that we're doing. We write it down. And what that's going to do is it's going to give us a matrix of where that time is going. Now, the very next thing we're going to do is we're going to go through that list and we're going to say what on this list can be eliminated, can be deleted, can be stopped, can we not do anymore? And you may think that you're never going to find anything on the list that can be deleted or eliminated because why would you be doing something that's not necessary? Well, I'm going to give you an example that you can all relate to. Now, let me ask you a question. Are any of you in a business or a client base where a client might send you an email that if you don't respond to that email within 30 seconds, somebody will die. This is one example, but this, every time you check your email inbox, there's multiple things happening. You think it's an innocuous, hey, I'm taking my phone out and I'm just going to my inbox and I'm looking and I'm actually clicking into this email to see what it's about. Maybe I'm writing a response, maybe I'm not, and I'm putting my phone back. Then what happens? Let's see, what was I doing? Where was I? Oh, yes, I'm in the middle of typing this letter. I'm in the middle of researching this topic. Let me pick up where I left off. It's not the 1 minute that you're checking your email. It's the 15 minutes that are lost in what's called context switching. That happens when I'm switching from one type of task to another, and my brain needs to acclimate, and I need to readjust and refocus on where I was at. So if you're checking your email 50 times a day, you're losing 5 to 15 minutes every single time you do that. Do the math. You don't have that much time in the day. Let's see. 5 minutes. 50 times 5. 250 minutes. Divided by 60. You're spending 4 hours of your day on email management. So, how do we delete this? How do we stop doing this? Well, I saw something that I thought was genius that a guy by the name of Tyson Mutrux had implemented. You may know that name because he is one of the two co-hosts of the Maximum Lawyer podcast. He hosts the Maximum Lawyer Facebook group, and they also do a conference, the Max LawCon. Well, Tyson has an autoresponder on his email. When you send him an email, his autoresponder replies back and says, hey, this is an auto response. Your email came in and was received in my email inbox. I check my email. I don't remember if it was 2 or 3 times a day. Let's just say 3. 3 times a day. At 10 a.m., at 1 p.m., and at 4 p.m. If your email has a urgent matter that cannot wait for the next time I'm going to check my email, call my office. Here's the phone number. Otherwise, do not expect a reply until my next email check. What he has done by doing that is he has eliminated the excuse that we have of why we have to check the email, why it's so important. Because clients are going to get pissed off. They sent me an email. It's taken 2 hours have passed and I haven't responded to them. Well, if you have an autoresponder that tells them when to expect a response, voila. Now they know. So we're not going to stop checking email completely, but maybe we don't need to check email every 20 minutes. And instead, we can have designated times, twice a day, 3 times a day. More than 3 is more than you need. You don't need more than 2, actually. And I would encourage you to delete your notifications from your phone and even your email app from your phone, and only go into your email proactively at those times. Don't have something calling your attention. Now, we're not saying don't check your email at all. Don't respond to your email at all. But cutting out all of those checks, that alone can unlock that 1 hour a day you're missing. You don't believe me? Try it. Okay? Email is one example of something that can be deleted, that can be eliminated from the list of things that you're doing throughout the day when you're logging your time. There, I'm sure you can find more. Number 3. So filter number 2 or number 3, step number, whatever, you get it. Automate the predictable. So after we've determined that here's everything that we still need to keep doing, then I want to take another filter through this list, and I want to say, what on this list can I have a system that will automate it for me? For example, in the previous example I gave with email, we deleted all the email checks, but in order to do that, we automated the response to the person sending the email so that they know what to expect. So they don't think we're blowing them off, right? That's a combination of deleting and automating. Some good examples for automating is digitizing and automating repetitive client intake, scheduling workflows, and follow ups. We shared with you a link to book a strategy session with somebody on our team. It's going to go straight to somebody's calendar. You're going to put in your information and it will put it on their calendar. It will automatically remind you of that call coming up. And we hope that those reminders are going to be sufficient and you're going to show up to the call. But what's not happening is nowhere in that process until you're on a Zoom call with one of our coaches does anybody on my team touch that along the way. It is completely, entirely automated. Whereas before Calendly, we actually started with Acuity, which was introduced, was a product before Calendly came out, but Calendly had a prettier user interface and we liked it better. But we started on Acuity, but before automated scheduling, we either needed to have your people get with my people, or we needed to take time during our call or during our interaction, however that was, to go back and forth about our availability and confirm on a date and time for the call. Now, most of you are probably doing this already in your business. Many people have adopted these automatic schedulers. But this is an example where you take technology and you replace something you're doing manually and you do it automatically. And what that does is those things buy back your time. They give you leverage. And what we're trying to do is reclaim an hour a day. You can probably reclaim a lot more, but if I give you an hour, it's your job to take that hour and use it in growing your business. All right, so that was filter 3. The last piece is delegating. Once we've figured out that these are the things that we cannot get rid of, we have to be doing them. And then after that, we went through and we said, these are the things that we cannot automate. They need manual, hands-on approach. We then need to go through and say, okay, which of these can I delegate to somebody else to do instead of me? Because my time is more valuable than someone else's time. Maybe it's not more valuable than everyone else's time, but it's certainly more valuable than somebody whose time is less valuable than mine. So how do we figure that out? Okay. So this is a matrix that I created for you to kind of understand how this works. But every task that we do has a level of proficiency. How good are we at it? And it has a level of desirability. How much do I like doing this? For example, I could say bookkeeping. And there are some of you that are going to crawl under the desk and hide on the floor. You do not have a desire in touching it at all. And there are some of you who are going to look up and say, oh my goodness, I love doing that. As a matter of fact, I spend 10 hours a week doing bookkeeping. That's desirability. You could be on either end of the spectrum. It doesn't mean anything positive or negative about you. However, most likely, most of you, except for the one whose spouse is the attorney and she's the one maintaining the books, most of you, your proficiency level in bookkeeping is probably not at a 5. It's probably a 1 or a 2. If you've been in business for 15 years and you've been doing your books the whole time, maybe you're a little bit better than that. Maybe you're a 3, right? But you've only been exposed to what your books have exposed you to. You're not a professional bookkeeper. So your proficiency is not going to be all the way up there. For every task that you do, your proficiency level can be measured and your desirability to do that task can be measured. And on a scale of 1 to 5, where 1 is the least desirable or the least proficient, and 5 is the most desirable or the most proficient, you land somewhere on this matrix. And the ones that you should be keeping, the ones you should be owning, are the ones where you have a combination of high proficiency and high desirability, because that's where our happy place is. When we're really good at something and we really love doing it, we are very happy doing that. As a matter of fact, you may not know this about me, but I'm a paramedic. Yes, I do this all day for a living. But you know what? Tonight, I'm going to be clocking in at 7 p.m. and sitting on the paramedic truck for 12 hours. And it's not because I need another $300. It's because I love doing it and I'm really good at it. It's my happy place. It's actually where I go to get away from my wife and kids. Not I don't do it just for that, but it's my own little space that I get. Um, and it's very rewarding and a great thing to be doing in the community. All of that being said, that's where we want to be, is we want to be in that desire zone where we love doing it, we're really good at it. There are tasks that you're really proficient at, and even if you don't desire to do them, you're the one who needs to own them. And there are tasks where even though you're not good at it, you really desire to do it and you're going to want to hold on to them. However, there's a lot of tasks that fall into where they both meet, where we don't want to do them, we're not good at them. And you know what? That's also the procrastination zone, because we don't actually execute on those tasks. We push it off. If you hate bookkeeping, when you know you need to do it, you might open QuickBooks, and what might take a proficient bookkeeper 10 minutes is going to take you an hour and a half, because you're going to sit there and you're going to go on Amazon and go shopping. And you're going to go on Google and look up the latest whatever news you want to know about, right? And then you'll remember, oh, I'm supposed to be doing my bookkeeping. Go back to your bookkeeping. Because we don't want to do it. When we don't want to do something, we push it off. We find other things to distract us until we're like, oh, my bookkeeping time is over. I guess I'll have to wait till next time. So what you can do is you can list all of these tasks in a spreadsheet with 2 columns. One column is proficiency, one column is desirability. Give every single task a rating 1 to 5 in each of those categories. Then create a sum, a total column, and sort it by lowest number to highest number, and that will give you the most prime candidates of what you should be delegating off of your plate onto somebody else's plate. Now, here's how this works. In the old method, what you were doing up until today is you were paying for a $10 admin task by using your own $300 an hour attorney time. And this is why the Clio report showed that lawyers are doing 2.4 hours of billable work in an 8-hour workday. Because you're choosing to spend so much of your time doing the things that are not billable at $300 an hour. So there's a big opportunity cost in the lost time that could have been done, that you could have been focusing on client work, but more importantly, in our conversation, where you could have been focusing on business building work, which is even more valuable. It has higher leverage than legal work. In the investor method, when we put our owner hat on and we make really good decisions in our business, we can hire an entry-level international VA for $5 to $12 an hour, and that person, even if they are highly inefficient, can take 10 hours off of our plate and spend their 40 hours doing it, and we've bought back $3,000 worth of time for $200, or 12 times 40 is what? $480. Either way, a really, really good return on investment. The only risk when you hire an attorney into your firm is that you need to carry them for 3 months. That $30,000 investment produces $1 million annual revenue for your business, right? That concept introduced the idea that we need to make the investment before the return. We may approach this and say, well, I can't afford to hire somebody $5 to $12 an hour. And for some people in the room, it's possible that affordability might be an issue. The reality is that what you're basing that off of where you are today, which doesn't include the 10 hours you're going to free up. If you free up those 10 hours, what are you going to do with them? Well, 5 of them are going to be business building hours, and then the other 5 could be legal work hours, and voila, you have the money to pay that person. So we play this game of thinking we're not ready for something when the reality is we need to think about, if we made this investment 90 days later, where would we be? Because the ROI will be there. It will pay for itself if we implement. This is Becky Torres. I used her as a case study on the last one and the next one, Christina, but I want to point out, because really what they have accomplished is exactly what we're talking about. And Becky, by the way, she bought the Timular. She loved it. When we first started working together, that was the first thing that she did. She did a time study on herself. So, water rights attorney in New Mexico. She's a triathlete. She's a hands-on mom, and she was barely breaking even when we first met. And she was stressed the F out, right? Like, she was working really hard, needing to forego races due to demands of the firm. After implementing the Law Firm Freedom Blueprint, after going through this process and bringing on help, what did she do? She went from 1 to 6 support staff members. Not an attorney, just 6 people to leverage her time. So she was spending her time on only the most high leverage, high value items. And her firm went from break even to a 34% profit margin. How is that possible? She hired 5 people. Well, first of all, she hired international VAs. So those people were costing her in total $10,000 a month. But she was able to leverage that $10,000 a month into, they were doing her sales, they were doing her signing up of clients, they were collecting information that needed to be collected, and all she needed to do was show up and do the work. And it allowed her to create that much more revenue, that it created a profit margin for her that she didn't have before. And she got to spend 2.5 weeks climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. That's because she leveraged other people's time to get out of her own way. Christina Gilbertson, same thing, estate planning attorney in Colorado, true solo, hadn't taken a family vacation in years. She hired her first 2 staff members. Her revenue increased 88%, profits increased 44%, and she spent 9 days in Disney, completely unplugged. The common denominator here is they did a time study. They understood where their time was being wasted. They cut out the things they didn't need to do. They automated the things that could be automated. And they hired and delegated for a bunch of those low proficiency, low desirability tasks. And in that process, not only eliminated all this stuff from their plate, but also eliminated all of the context switching that those things created. That context switching, of switching between things with your brain, costs real time. Now, if you can be focused on one thing at a time for a longer period of time, you're going to be way more productive in your work. This allows you to create what we call the engineered calendar, where you allocate time for the things that are important. You allocate time for working on your business. You allocate time for spending with your family. And the high value work that you need to do, the leverage work, the legal work that you still need to hold on to. And get to leave the office at 5 o'clock. So where do you go from here? You have this information. How do you execute? What do you do, right? Path A is continue doing what you're doing right now. Keep carrying the firm on your back. Keep reacting to problems instead of building systems. Keep delaying the hire you know you need. Keep sacrificing your time, income, and freedom. Or you can choose to finally make a difference. Create predictable revenue, build a team you can trust, install systems that reduce your dependence on the firm, increase your take-home pay, reclaim your time in your life. And by the way, one of the things you might be saying is, oh, this is all great, but if I hire somebody, I need to spend time teaching them. I need to spend time creating systems for them. And the one thing that I will tell you, this is a little secret, when you bring somebody on, one of the low-level tasks you can give them is for them to create the systems instead of you creating the systems. Get used to using something like loom.com, where you can demo you doing a task and not have it take any longer. Just record yourself doing it, and then you hand off the URL to the video. Say, hey, I recorded the process of how I run payroll. This is now yours. Go figure it out. Come back with questions. I've recorded myself ordering toilet paper for the office. This is where I like to order it from. This is the brand I like to order. This is how to buy it. This is how to check for coupons and make sure you're getting the cheapest price. Here you go. Go do it. You can delegate without being creating all these formal systems, and then you can teach your person that it's their job to document everything into your standard operating procedures manual. Okay. So we have a training program called the Reclaim an Hour a Day System, and what it does is it walks you through this entire process. It helps you with understanding how to do a time audit, how to document it, how to analyze it, how to think about automation and different things that you can automate, and then scoring and hiring matrices, and finally the VA delegation playbook, how to find an international VA, how to bring them on, what to think about in that process, how to delegate to them, how to expedite that process, and finally get that time back. Now, this retail value of this is $1,997. However, we don't have it for sale. You cannot buy it, and I'm not selling it to you today. If you want it, I want to give it to you absolutely free. I talked at the beginning of this training, and I'll share with you now again the opportunity to get on a call with us. What I want you to do is I want you to book a law firm growth call with us, 30 minutes with one of our Profit with Law coaches. There's no charge. That call is not a sales pitch. If you do not want us to sell you anything, we will not sell you anything. We are not a high pressure environment. Not every person that we have a coaching call with is going to become a client. If you see the value and you see the potential and you want our support, you will ask for it. We will give you the opportunity to ask for it at the end of that call. But for those 30 minutes, we're focusing on you. I want our coaches to help you understand and have clarity when you leave that call that you know where you need to be focusing on in your business. And then you get to focus on that. So what we do on that call, we find your biggest leak, help you know where to start, and free up the time and cash to do it. This call's for you if your firm is running, but everything still runs through you. You know something needs to change, but are unclear what to tackle first. You need help, but hiring feels like a risk you can't afford yet. You want direct guidance rather than more general information. You want to grow, even if you're not sure you have the money or the size to do it yet. That's it. It's that simple. If you book a call and you show up, honor our time, honor your commitment to us. You booked it, put it in your calendar, make sure you're there, show up for that call, and we will grant you free access to Reclaim an Hour a Day so you can have the training to go through and get back an hour a day. Bring on your first VA into your business, or second or third, and learn how to delegate properly to them so that it truly makes a difference in your life, so you get to buy back your time. Because when you do that, that hour you get to put to use, and you get to choose how you put it to use. You can put it to use spending time on the specific projects you've identified that are the things that have to happen for your business to go to the next level. For me and my business, I'm in the process of looking to buy another accounting firm. That is the next level of growth that I'm looking to do. And my highest leverage time, where I am spending when I have a free hour, is evaluating opportunities, evaluating those firms. I could easily say I'm too busy. As a matter of fact, that's already happened. This is not the first time I'm going through this process. I was doing this a year ago. Accounting firms don't sell during tax season, so there's only a small window that you can evaluate and buy an accounting firm. And the last time I was going through this process, I didn't prioritize the time. I didn't make sure I was allocating an hour every day. Every day I should be looking at a new opportunity deciding whether this is something I want more information about, and getting the next step handled, right? An NDA in place, a qual booked, and so on. That's a choice that I make. And the result is a year ago when I wanted to do this, I didn't want it badly enough. I didn't make sure it happened. In the meantime, I didn't buy another firm. And we didn't grow in that way in the last 12 months. The opportunity is here again, and I'm going for it, right? But that's how I want you to approach this. I want you to understand that that 1 hour has a lot of leverage power for you. That can make the difference between you being stuck in the day to day and the rut that you're in right now, or having the leverage that you need to really create the leverage moves in your business. So hopefully, you'll be booking a call with us. All right. Take care. Bye for now.